Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the channel where it may be early, but I have a ginormous smile on my face because today is going to be a big one. I'm going to be driving in my McLaren 675 LT to head over to the mothership, the McLaren Technology Centre, where I am very excited to say that as of right now, my future McLaren Senna is in production. The countdown is on as the car has entered build, which means it's just a few weeks, maybe a month or so, until delivery of my first ever hypercar. This is totally surreal, and today I'm heading over to see it on the assembly line. My camera might not be allowed behind the walls of the MPC, the production centre, but I'll be sure to let you know exactly what it's like and some more details later on. But also today, it happens to coincide with an event that they're holding, the launch of the new OnePlus 6T McLaren Edition, so we'll be able to check that out too. In any case though, any day out in the LT is a good one, so let's jump in the car, get this drive started, and head over to check out my future McLaren Senna. The thing is though that this is already a ridiculously crazy car. In fact, any McLaren is a proper supercar, and I've been lucky enough now to own 4 different models from the first generation of the Super Series, and the LT Spider, my final car in a completely bespoke spec, is very much going to be a keeper alongside the Senna when it arrives, which itself will be my first foray into their Ultimate Series, the flagship cars that they make, and in this case particularly about track performance. But going back to the spec of this car, actually, the MSO Orion purple paintwork that we created, a complete one-off, has the metallic flake in the cerulean blue to match the future Senna. Let me just quickly bring up the spec of the Senna that's in build. Cerulean blue paintwork with the dark blue tinted carbon fibre and lots of options to make it again a unique car. But just picture these two together, the Senna in the adjacent spot to the 675 LT Spider. I cannot wait. But let's jump into the car now, and I would like to show you the invitation to today's event. We've got the doors that open upwards and outwards, revealing the carbon fibre tub, the bucket seats, the focused interior with Alcantara, more carbon fibre. Let me just take a step now inside the car. I've done so many outings, road trips, adventures, journeys, track days and all sorts with this. But down here, the invitation came to the McLaren OnePlus event, VIP guest. Let's go check out the 6T McLaren Edition today, but first, let's bring it into life. Twin turbo V8 fires up. So I've got about an hour and a quarter to go to get to McLaren. It's only 20 miles or so, but morning rush hour. Needless to say though, the Senna is awaiting, so let's get on the road. Any supercar is a challenge to get out of the garage, so we've got to put the lift system up, which takes a moment in here. We have a horrible turning circle, but that's all part of the driving experience, gives you an amazing feel when you're out on track. And I'm a little bit worried about whether the Senna's front splitter is actually going to be able to get out of this garage at all, or whether it's going to have to live in my storage and I won't be able to bring it back here. But nonetheless, we can just about do it in here. Very stiff carbon fibre tub, and up we go, so out onto the roads. In fact, I'm going to open the rear window just so we can hear a little bit more of the noise as we head on out in hopefully not too much traffic. The good news is that with the sun starting to rise, the sky is definitely looking nice and cerulean today, which is exactly what we like to see. Cerulean blue, the colour for the Senna, meaning like a deep blue from the sky. So it's a perfect word for a nice day out today, and you have to be conscious of those kind of things, because a car like this has the factory Pirelli Trofeo R tyres, and those are basically, well, let's just say they're semi-slicks. So if it is wet, you need to be very much keeping your wits about you. If it's dry, no problem at all, just get some temperature in them. But, well, traffic to get out of London, hopefully the motorways are going to be clear. It's looking all right on the navigation, and any outing in this car is a good one, so I'm not complaining at all. Just looking forward now to getting to the MTC to see the Senna. It's so ridiculous this is happening. As we come out of the city, let me turn on the active dynamics panel, put it into dynamic mode, drop some gears, and one of the craziest things is that this car, 0 to 200 kilometers per hour, which already feels insanely fast, takes about 8.1 seconds. The Senna does it in 6.8. That's going to make this very fast car seem basically slow, which is just surreal to say. It's going to be, I don't even know how you can drive it on the road, it's going to be that level of fast. And obviously you can hear I have to raise my voice because it's loud in here. We don't have much by way of sound deadening. In the Senna, there is even less. It's not exactly going to be the most road-appropriate car. I tell you what it is going to be, though, is a pretty incredible event each and every time to take it out to drive. But just dropping some gears in here, putting the foot down, it makes you think. It makes you think a lot with how quick this car is. Yeah, it's not really gone very well, I'm not gonna lie. Lots and lots of traffic. However, now that we're nearing McLaren, I'm gonna pop the roof down because after all, that's half the fun of driving a Spider, which in the 675 you can do while you're crawling along up to about 20 miles per hour or so. Oh goodness, it's cold. I think it's about 4 or 5 degrees actually. Maybe this wasn't the best idea, but hey, you get to hear a little bit more of the engine noise, enjoy a bit of the experience, doesn't take too long. Sunglasses on, of course, and the last bit of the drive, and then we will be at the gates of McLaren. Oh yes! You've got to love this! Here we are then, the roundabout at the front of McLaren. I'm going to have to pull over for the obligatory photograph in front of the sign right here. So let's tuck out the way, jump out of the car for a moment, get the shot, and then head on in. It is absolutely freezing here. It's genuinely 5 degrees today, but with the roof off, still very fun in front of the sign. But anywho, let me head on in now, get inside at McLaren. This is always the most spectacular way to arrive at the McLaren Technology Centre. You drive around the lake towards what's called the H block at the entrance. You can see all of the cars inside. Looks like there's an awful lot going in. Some very special cars also at the front door. But what a cool place to be back home with my LT, where the Senna is lurking tucked away in the building back behind the MPC. We're here, it's time. How is this for an arrival then? Behind me, we've got the 570S GT4 car. Behind that, we have the pure McLaren Arctic Experience car, and then my first Senna of the day, the carbon fibre MSO Senna, the car that I filmed my spec video with. This car has every option possible, full exposed carbon fibre body. That, of course, though, is not the only Senna of the day today. So let's head inside where a number of people are gathering. You can see we have Senna number 1 there, a few Formula 1 cars around, and also on this side, the Speedtail itself, and Lando Norris, next year's Formula 1 driver with McLaren Racing. But this is, of course, the 250 mile/hour flagship of the Ultimate Series range, the new 3-seater, the long-awaited car. There will only be 106 of those built in total. And then, of course, coming back through here, we have the other McLaren Senna. They did a special MSO paintwork on this car for car number 1. And just look at it. What a thing is this. It is always a special place to walk through here, particularly when you have a number 12 Senna car. Of course, my car is going to wear the SH12 MEE number plate 12 because that was Ayrton's racing number. This is the MP4-4 from 1988, won the Drivers' World Championship, and that's sitting right here on the Boulevard, along with many other cars from different eras of the company's history. It goes on and on here. One of the very first P1s, then the McLaren F1 GTR, the victor of the 1995 Le Mans 24 Hours, and then one of the road cars of the F1s as well. Of course, the predecessor to the new Speedtail, the car that went 242 miles per hour back in the 90s, which was a record for quite a long time. But coming on through here, down towards where you have the trophy cabinets, you will notice at the Monza stand, we have the Shmee 150 box. So I need to go grab a key to see what's in here. I have the key then, which is in the shape of a Formula 1 car, of course, but let's open up this cupboard and have a look inside where we have the Salute to Speed, the box for the new 6T McLaren Edition, and even the box actually is carbon fibre. So let me get this opened up and let's have a look. Before we get to the Senna, let's do a mini unboxing then of the 6T McLaren Edition right beside McLaren Formula 1 cars, which is crazy in itself. So opening up the box here, by the way, you would get that book, the Salute to Speed book, then you have the other accessories down at the bottom. Then in here, if we turn to basically the best page, actually the best page is the next page, here we have some of the specifications. The first phone with 10 gigs of RAM, Warp Charge 30, which gives it 50% of battery in just 20 minutes. And then back here, we have the new phone itself, which, by the way, has the back panel made from carbon fibre, which McLaren themselves introduced to their Formula 1 cars. They were the first to actually do that, and it also has the papaya orange stripe around the outside, the speed stripe, in the same traditional McLaren colour. So this is small, lightweight, a ginormous front screen. Just press and hold the button to power it up briefly so that you can get a small feel for what it's like here with the logo. You've got all of the accessories in McLaren orange naturally, and that also brings up, I think after this, the McLaren logo before it will load into life, but the new Android phone. Anyway, awesome to be here and be part of this. Big thanks to them for the opportunity to actually have the phone as well. And you'll also spot the Shmi 150 McLaren OnePlus jacket there. But I am going to put this back in the box for the moment and head on through to go find some more about the Senna. Through that tunnel is where the magic happens. The MPC, the McLaren Production Centre, is just over the other side, another building. Unfortunately though, no camera can go in there, but what I can tell you is down the production line is a very cerulean blue McLaren Senna. It's actually quite far through the build process. You have a number of different stages. You just have to imagine what this looks like. The Ultimate Series part of the production is off to the right-hand side, so the cars come down there one after another, being assembled, being married when the engine comes in, being put together before they then go for all the testing, like I saw way back with my 675 LT, when it goes into the dyno test, the water test, then it gets taken for a shakedown on the road, and ultimately it's going to be delivered via McLaren Manchester very, very soon. So I'm standing right now, if you hadn't noticed, in front of a Lego McLaren 720S right here. This is a car actually we saw a few times before, but how cool is that? A full 1-to-1 scale Lego model. Down this way takes you back towards the Boulevard, walking past the trophy cabinets and all of the victories that they've had before. But down there, the McLaren Production Centre is where, alas, the camera cannot go this time around. But I can tell you it's very real and it's very, very exciting. Just to wrap things up here at MTC, I've brought the 675 LT around to the H block, to the front of the building, to park it with the Senna. The first time I think my 675 LT has actually seen a McLaren Senna. Of course, that's going to be quite a familiar sight in not too long from now, but it's time to jump back in. The sky is still very blue, to head home and talk a little more about what today has been like. So let's hop on into the car and get on the way. Into life it fires, and then around the lake we will drive. What a place to be. Into drive, auto box, release the handbrake. Out we go, and it might not be that long until I can come back here with the Senna. But what a view as you drive around. You can actually see the cafeteria with all the staff having their lunch break as well. As we head on out, it's such a, I think, iconic venue. There's nowhere else really like this. The building itself is such a feat of engineering and technology, which is really the heart of the company, which is, I think, a big part of what excites me so much about McLaren's, how they do things differently. Form follows function so much with the cars. Look at the Senna, look at the Speedtail. These cars are really very much for one straight purpose, yet a car like this is so gentle to drive. You know, we're on a paved road, it's smooth, it's comfortable, quietish at slow speeds, but then, as I experienced earlier, and as I know very well from the amount of miles I've done in this car, when you do dial it up, it becomes a whole different beast, a complete animal when it's really full pelt, for example, driving around Spa, that kind of thing. But now we are heading towards the exit, which means time to roll on out and, yeah, make my way back home. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So, off we go. As I make my way then back towards London to think a little bit more about the MPC, the Senna production facility, and where it works in terms of the Ultimate Series line. So you have a balcony at the end of the factory where you can see over the entire place. You have the main lines that go up and down for the Sports Series and the Super Series. And then on the far right hand side you have the Ultimate Series line where the cars come towards you. Much fewer stages, they take longer on each stage, it's much more of a handmade car. In fact, all of the cars are very handmade. But the car arrives as the carbon fibre tub. You can imagine, you know, literally the frame that I'm sitting inside of. And then the various parts are all almost attached to that, with the interior being one of the last things that gets done, and then the body panels getting, some of them at an early stage, some of them at a later stage. Some cars have additional slave components that are installed to the cars as they make their way through the factory. If all the parts aren't, you know, need to be protected or aren't quite there or whatever it may be. And just for a moment, my goodness, it just is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, this car. I don't know what the Senna is going to be like. It's going to make this look slow. Somehow it's going to make this car look sluggish. I don't really know how that's possible. But anyway, I'm now on the motorway, so back into completely normal automatic mode, full chill mode, engaged. I used to have a winter mode, by the way, on the 12C and the 650S, but not on the 675. Because you're probably not supposed to drive it in very cold temperatures. We've got 10 degrees now, though. That's actually really quite warm. I think that might be a little bit optimistic. So, the rest of the line, it comes down, you've got the top. Obviously, in the case of my car, you have all the special blue carbon parts, which are done through MSO. My car's got a whole load of MSO content, so custom coloured stitching on the inside, the centre locks on the wheels are also MSO, the silver brake calipers, obviously the blue carbon and also the blue paintwork are MSO colours too. So they had to get all of these different components to the line exactly in time, all delivered just in time for the car to be assembled. Then it reaches towards the end of the line as one completed car, which, like I said, is where mine basically is now, as an almost completed vehicle. Then it will go through all the shakedown, the testing, and then from here, so why does it take potentially a month to now get delivered? Well, if you think about it, it's got to go through all the final tests at the factory. It's got to go to MSO for the final components to be fitted and installed there. Then it's got to get trucked up to McLaren Manchester for its pre-delivery inspection, its registration. I've got to pay them, I've got to pay the balance. I've paid about a third of the car as a deposit, but I have to pay the rest of it before they really do that much of this work. And then ultimately I've got to go and get it. So that does tend to take at least a couple of weeks. I would love to be super optimistic about it and hope, you know, that it might come even sooner, but I know from experience with every manufacturer how long this process can take, and not to get too excited about it, to take it when it comes. And then of course, before I can drive the car with that much aero work, and when you see it up close with some of the body panels off, you can see all of this in more detail. You have to be so careful to make sure it's PPF'd, because it just pulls the stones through the different openings and different, all the open bits you can imagine if you look at a Senna. And if I whip up the spec again, you can see again all of the shapes, all of the openings, ducts, vents have different ways for stones to cause you paint damage, so you don't want any of that. You want to avoid all of that wherever possible. So I'm not going to drive it a single mile on the road until it's all been completely finished. And then it will of course be first drive time. So somewhere in January I hope I'll get the opportunity to drive it. You can see I'm being photographed from in front by the passenger of the VW. Very funny. But yeah, amazing visit, really fun to go there. What I'm actually going to do though is swing back, because I don't have any plans to drive the car again in the immediate future. So I'm going to head to Posh Wash, get it cleaned up, and then get it back to the garage in storage, undercover, to bring today and wrap things up. But really fun to head over to see the new OnePlus 6T, to go back to MTC as always, and the big one. Although I guess less for you guys because I've not been able to show it to you, but the McLaren Senna in production. It's getting very real now. It's that same old problem with winter time. It just gets dark so early in the day. Yes, it's still bright at the moment, but you can tell it's starting to get a little bit darker. The sun is dropping back in the mirrors behind me, but nonetheless, what an awesome day. I'm back in town, fortunately without any traffic at all this time. A smooth journey back in. I suppose I should probably put the roof down for the last couple of miles, just enjoying the car on this drive. Let's just hope the weather is so nice the next time I take it out. Or maybe next spring, this car should go off on journeys with the Senna internationally. That would be really cool, to take both cars away together. I'm picturing some awesome photos in the Alps, in the mountains. Let's see if we can make it happen. Well, there we are, back where I started off this morning in the garage, but potentially now even more excited for the arrival of this thing than I was before. Of course, I've come home armed with a new McLaren phone, and soon to be armed with the new McLaren Senna in the collection. If you're subscribed, you're going to see all of the videos with this through the adventures ahead. I'll let you know as we get a little bit closer when I have a better idea of when delivery will be, but the countdown is now well and truly on to the first Shmeemobile hypercar, the McLaren Senna, to arrive in the garage alongside the fantastic LT Spider. It's a thanks though from me to OnePlus for the invitation to join today's event, to the guys at McLaren also for hosting, and the visit to the Boulevard and to the MPC. I'm just sorry I wasn't able to share more of that with you, but it is going to be here in no time at all. I am buzzing with excitement. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, but that's it for this time. I will see you again very soon. Cheers.